Hello Internet, I am the hero of Julios once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter is chapter 1072, The Weight of Memory. Our chapter arc this week is another step into the history of Mads, which it's still being called the Germa Double Six Emotionless Voyage, but at this point it's like a flashback within a story. But this is Mads, and we see Caesar, we see Queen, and we see Judge all working on their respective weapons of warfare and great harm, and starting to see how Vegapunk might have sort of been tricked into this relationship. But that's pretty much all we see on that. We'll probably see how Vegapunk maybe argued with them when the government showed up, all that good stuff later. The chapter itself, however, begins with Bonnie chasing down Vegapunk, trying to, get him to explain what happened to her father. But we also see a little bit of text with Vegapunk's notes back when he worked in Mads, talking about how, despite how the rest of the world might feel about her coming into existence, this person is without a doubt a human being. Without exactly telling us who these notes are referring to, I will say my initial first thoughts were Bonnie, because Bonnie's chasing after Vegapunk, but we see Bonnie starting to use her devil fruit. She ages up her muscles. I'm not exactly sure what it is she's doing, because, again, we don't know the name of her devil fruit, so we can't speculate everything about it. But she sort of like buffs up her muscles and takes like this massive swing at him before he dodges out of the way. And he keeps telling her that he can't tell her why he did what he did to Kuma. But she's not buying that. She takes the iron bar that she's holding and she sort of skewers him with it as it like bulbs out his belly, and you see these like sparkles and gemstones come out of him, representing the sparks of his experience. This then turns Vegapunk into a child, and Bonnie even goes as far as kicking an innocent child, to which Vegapunk responds with, "This is child abuse." But she does reassure him that her ability does not last on living things indefinitely. So, any of those theories out there that the Gorosei were after Bonnie because she's the key to making them live young forever, throw that out the window. Bonnie does not grant eternal youth, and the way she words it, the way she says that it doesn't work on living things indefinitely, sort of implies that Bonnie's true age is 26, or in that area, because Oda confirmed she looks 26. I think it's 26. I keep saying 26. I'm going to put the number down here if I'm wrong. But she's young, because she's Kuma's daughter. Anytime we've seen her as a child or an elderly woman is her using her devil fruit to age herself up or down respectively, but it's not a permanent effect. All the while that this argument is going on, we actually cut to Kuma, who had recently landed in the Red Line and sort of just marching around. Well, he has begun his assault. He's blasting things. He's defending himself against the soldiers in the area. But there's still no clear answer to what Kuma is doing. However, he is making progress, and as he is, continuing on his journey, we see Bonnie notice a door. And as she's walking towards the door, Vegapunk tells her, don't go in there, that door has nothing to do with your father, as the door has a giant paw print on it. Could you have labeled it any more obviously? As she opens it, we see a big bubble. And Bonnie, looks at it and he goes, Bonnie, you know your father, you know how his devil fruit works. If you touch that, it is going to be insurmountable amounts of pain. And Bonnie just says, no, I know my father's devil fruit. Those are his memories. And we cut to an interesting little flashback between Kuma and Vegapunk, where Vegapunk explains to Kuma that a scientist out in the West Blue figured out a way that to measure the weight of a person as they die. As they die, about 20-ish grams of weight is inexplicably lost the second a person dies. This could be scientific proof that a soul is extractable. Now, what's interesting about this is it actually matches one of my favorite scientific little facts that I know of. There is actual real world scientific research on this, that when a person dies, there is an inexplicable amount of weight that is lost from them, which could potentially prove scientifically that human beings have souls. Now, what's cool about this in the One Piece world, as Vegapunk points out to Kuma, you take incorporeal things and push them out into a physical form. Things like memories and emotions and, pain. You can take out the pain of a person. So what I'm asking you, buddy, is can you squeeze your own memories out of your head? And Kuma responds with, no, that's embarrassing. Of course, Vegapunk's like, please, it's in the name of science. I promise I won't tell anyone. But that big bubble in that room is probably Kuma's memories, which, in my opinion, means somewhere in that room is Kuma's soul. So, again, I'm going to go back to my theory that the Seraphim Kuma is eventually going to. I thought it was, like it currently is, but there's a potential that it will eventually be the real Bartholomew Kuma. That maybe the little soul bubble that Vegapunk's got somewhere, they're going to put it in the Seraphim Kuma, and that will bring Bonnie's dad back. Because right now, the thing that's attacking the Red Line is the soulless automaton Bartholomew Kuma, and if he dies during the fight with the Red Line, that means Kuma is dead. And Seraphim Kuma is a soulless robot, which means if the Seraphim Kuma and Bonnie mysteriously disappear off Egghead, the dad and daughter can live together in peace for the rest of their lives. So this might be a way of Kuma to fake his own death. I'm kind of just rambling at this point, but I really love the idea that the souls, we already knew souls were a real thing in One Piece because Big Mom, because of Brook, but to have one that we actually can just into someone else's body, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to seeing what goes from here. I hope we get some big, long flashback explaining not only Bartholomew Kuma's, entire backstory, but his involvement with the world government, his involvement as a warlord, his involvement with Dragon, and also why he picked the islands he picked for the Straw Hat crew. Like, some of them make sense. The scientist of the Straw Hat Pirates, Frankie, I'm going to send you to Vegapunk's hometown. Or in Chopper's case, I'm going to send you to the Torino Kingdom, where you can study their medicine. But then there's other ones, like Usopp, I'm going to send you to an island that eats people. Or, Brook, I'm just going to send you to an island where they worship the devil. I mean, at least in Brook's case, he just joined, so maybe Kuma was guessing. But he sent Luffy to an island that kills men on sight, and Luffy is not a smart person. So, what was Kuma's plan? What foresight did Kuma have? These are questions we've been asking for a very long time, and who knows, we might not get an answer. Maybe Kuma only picked and chose a couple of the Straw Hats drop-offs and just hoped the rest would make it. But regardless, this is not where the chapter ends. We cut to the outside of the lab where Lucci, Kaku, and Stussy, arrived to find that the Seraphims actually followed them up here because the Seraphims have a very limited sense of their own autonomy. Yes, they do obey orders, but they have the intelligence and the enough free will to make their own tactical decisions, and taking advantage of the Labosphere being down would definitely have been a tactical advantage. Lucci pays no hesitation here and immediately tells the Seraphims to just attack the big house before anyone can stop them, because as soon as one of the Vegapunks comes out and gives a verbal command, the Seraphims are done. They're going to be Rob Lucci's enemies again. Speaking of the Vegapunks going out there, Lilith and I believe Edison decide they're going to go out, give the verbal command. Lilith's going to knock some heads because that's what she wants to do. And she is joined by Frankie and Sanji, who, upon Nami's orders, are going to go out there and save them as well. It's actually really funny. Right before Nami tells Sanji to go, Sanji's sitting there and he goes, wow, It's Zoro and Brook out there. That's 2-on-3. And then they see the Seraphims, and Sanji goes, wow, that is 2-on-7. That's a real shame. Mosshead dies when the One Piece is this close. What a shame. Oh well, he's dead. That's life. C'est la vie. And Nami says, go help him. And Sanji's like, well, as a Sanji femme, I cannot deny Nami her orders. And he starts going on, and I just like that. What a shame. My crew member is dead. Oh no, nothing I can do. Goodbye, Zoro. But as the Seraphims are wreaking havoc and Lucci's giving orders, we actually see Kaku is fighting Zoro, and Kaku is awakened. This is great. You see the big black swirls around him, which seems to be the symbol for awakened zones, or at least like the true awakened zones. And Kaku is stronger than ever. He and Zoro having a fight, and just as we're about to get into the two of them getting serious, Stussy bites Kaku? The first panel, I'm not really sure who I see biting him, but it zooms out and we do see it's Stussy, and Kaku just sort of slumps over. Fully awakened, zone-type devil fruit with with hockey and, CP9 training, falls to the ground in a single bite. And Lucci's like, Stussy, what are you doing? And Stussy goes, oh, what, me? Me? I just put him to sleep. I just made him fall asleep, and I would like to ask you to do the same, Rob Lucci. As she's ominously staring at him with her bat wings coming out of her back. And we get a little introductory panel that tells us Stussy is the first successful clone of the Mads Scientist House of Peace. A clone of Miss Buckingham Stussy of the Rocks Pirates. Of the Rocks Pirates, they keep coming up, they keep showing up. We're waiting on that Garp flashback, but another member of the Rocks Pirates, and she's a clone of her, which means the woman in that Mads picture from a couple chapters ago is either Buckingham Stussy herself or this clone. We're not exactly sure yet, but a lot of people I saw on some comments and stuff of the chapter, because I read the official Viz and I also read on some other websites, but a lot of people were pointing out that Bakine, the woman who claimed to be the only woman that Whitebeard loved, who was also on the same crew as Whitebeard, which means she is a Rocks pirate, is named Bakine, which sounds very similar to Buckingham. Potentially, this was Bakine when she was younger. How this all links together, I can't really figure out right now. Maybe when I have more time to sit down and really think about things. But for now, things are starting to fall into place. We're starting to see some things. I'm going to guess that Stussy has some mythical zone type, because those are starting to become really common. But mythical zone, maybe vampire devil fruit, or maybe just a paramecia vampire. Who knows? But whatever the reason, or succubus, that is also, a succubi can make people fall asleep. Vampires do it through hypnosis, not through biting, so whichever it is, this is bad news for Rob Lucci, who, ironically, is being betrayed by someone he's worked with for the past few years. Someone he thought he could trust, someone he thought he was on the same side as. And after so many years of working together, turns out they were a double agent all along. Ironic. But that's all we see at the end of this chapter, so crazy shindigs, no break, so we get a new chapter next week, and more theories to follow as it comes along. So thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.